When I was elected Erie County Executive in 2007, I promised to run Erie County like a business and focus on the fiscal health and stability of Erie County. And it's a responsibility that I take very seriously. And it's also a responsibility that's been severely tested as the United States economy entered a free fall at the end of 2008 and severely impacted our sales tax collections that account for over 60% of our revenue. We gather today as the nation continues its long, laborious climb out of the worst recession since the last Great Depression. As our nation struggles to recover, unemployment and underemployment remain near historic highs, and New York State is facing a historic budget shortfall next year. Despite these issues, I am pleased and proud to report that the state of Erie County is strong, as we will end the 2009 budget year with a $44 million surplus, one of the largest year-end surpluses in the history of Erie County. Contrary to my critics' predictions, we did not use one penny of federal stimulus dollars to balance our 2009 budget. We not only absorbed an $11 million drop in sales tax collections, but also absorbed $2 million in expenses related to the crash of Flight 3407 and the 100-year flood in Gowanda and the surrounding area. Every penny of federal stimulus Medicaid relief was added to our multi-million-dollar operating surplus we generated by running Erie County like a business, focused on taxpayers, and implementing Lean Six Sigma across all county departments. That is not the story in other counties across New York State, where they struggle with multi-million-dollar deficits. And it was just yesterday in Westchester, they announced a $166 million deficit going into next year. They have double-digit tax increases, one-shot revenue enhancers, and they sell their tax liens. I will tell you that our success during these difficult economic times is a tribute to the hard work and the dedication of roughly 5,000 county employees, including my 25 commissioners and directors, who focus on best practices and the efficient delivery of services to county taxpayers. Thank you. As I'm sure you also remember, I pledged to work for $1 a month for as long as the Erie County Fiscal Stability Authority remained a hard control board. On June 2nd, 2009, the ECFSA acknowledged our hard work and voluntarily reverted to advisory status when they approved our 4-year financial plan. I'm pleased to say that my Brighter Future Fund donated over $180,000 to various charities in Erie County, mostly in the city of Buffalo, while I worked to convince the ECFSA that their direct oversight was no longer needed. I'm also pleased that the Stability Authority, under new chairman Dan Oliverio, recently approved our 2010 budget and 4-year plan, remaining in an advisory capacity. Dan is here today, and I want to thank you, Dan, for your leadership and your confidence in my administration. Most people remember that I had previously opposed letting the control board borrow on behalf of Erie County. But the meltdown on Wall Street dramatically changed that equation and my mind. Many of you know my directive: in God we trust, all others bring data. The new data is compelling, and it cannot be ignored. Allowing the ECFSA to borrow $173 million to fund 4 years of capital projects will save county taxpayers $21 million over the next 13 years. And we just found out the authority can save another $5 million by refinancing some old bond debt over the same 13 years. I have submitted a declaration of need to the Erie County Legislature, and urge its members to approve this measure at their next meeting. And together, we can save $26 million for the hardworking taxpayers of Erie County. Hardworking taxpayers will also benefit from the 2009 surplus of $44 million. This money belongs to the taxpayers of Erie County, and they should know how my administration plans to use it. This money will not be spent on new programs or new jobs. This money will not be wasted or squandered. It will, however, be used to protect taxpayers and to clean up Erie County's balance sheet that was left in tatters by prior administrations. $4 million will be used to eliminate the debt in the county's road fund. Using smoke and mirrors, the previous administration hid a $7 million operating deficit in this fund. When I discovered that reality in 2008, we used $3 million of that year's surplus to chip away at the deficit, and will use $4 million of the 2009 surplus to zero out this deficit once and for all. $8 million will be used to pay a pension obligation from many years ago. Instead of paying in full, the previous administration pushed this debt into the future with a multi-million-dollar payment plan at 8% interest. Instead of prolonging that pain, my administration will use surplus dollars to fully pay off this debt, eliminating 4 more years of principal and interest payments, and we will put this expense behind us once and for all. $18 million will be used to pay off the capital debt related to the Erie County Medical Center. This will totally eliminate our ECMC debt obligation today, instead of dragging it out into 2011 and 2012 and having to deal with the uncertainty of those out years. $4 million will be dedicated to cover unanticipated principal and interest costs associated with our recently negotiated 2010 bond sale. And finally, and I think most importantly, $10 million will be set aside to create a property tax stabilization fund. With all the uncertainty surrounding future years related to the economy, cost shifting from Albany, public pension obligations, inflation, and other variables, we can't be too conservative when it comes to protecting our future. And I want to thank the members of the legislature minority for supporting this idea. And I will be counting on your leadership to make it a reality on behalf of the taxpayers.